Hello, this is Amanda, the Animaven. I'm from Otaku CollectionDX, and in front of you is the Princess of the Crystal from Mawaru Pengiundrum, and she's a Nendoroid. Now, Mawaru Pengiundrum came out the summer of 2012, and it was probably my favorite show of that year, which is saying a lot because that was the same year of Tiger and Bunny, and it was Steins Gate and Madoka Magica. It was just a beautiful year for anime. And this one, even though it's not as well known as the others, it is really my favorite. The DVD is coming out, I think, New Year's Eve from Sentai, so if you have the time and the inclination, you really ought to pick it up and watch the show. I very much recommend it. It's really crazy. It has an extraordinarily bizarre plot that if I tried to explain it to you, it would take up way too much time. The important thing to know is that Pengiundrum was made by the same guy who made Revolutionary Girl Utena, and he also did a lot of work on Sailor Moon. So if that doesn't hook you, then I don't know what will. So the Princess of the Crystal is the magical girl of the show. She's not a very good magical girl. She doesn't fight bad guys or do anything like that. She mostly just transforms in this very long and kind of hilarious transformation sequence and then bosses people around and puts them down a lot. I can get behind that kind of magical girl. I really like that. She has 3 compatriots, the penguins. The penguins are invisible to everyone except for the main characters of the show, so that leads to a lot of shenanigans. Now, the penguins don't really have names. They have numbers. And that's how you tell them apart, that and their little details. Like you can see number 3 has the bow. She's the only girl of the lot. A lot of the fans call her 3D. 3, sweetie, 3D. She is my favorite penguin. I actually have a plushie of her, a fan-made plushie that I picked up at a con last year. I was super excited to see her, and the person selling it was super excited that I knew what Mawaru Pengiundrum was. So then, after the penguins, that leaves us with the princess. Now, the very important part of her outfit is this hat. The hat is the source of her power. It's really cool. It's got her these little, I guess, ear flaps, pigtails, whatever, on the same joint mechanism that they use for Hatsune Miku's hair whenever they make her into a Nendoroid. And the hat is really easy to use. It comes off really easily. It's not plugged in. It doesn't have any sockets or anything like that. It's just really well molded to her head. So that's pretty cool. You can see, get a good look at it. It's got the same pink eyes that she's sporting right now. That's a little bit important to the plot. So then if you want to put it back on her, really easy to do. Just goes right back on, no problem. Now the princess has, in her outfit, she's got her little boots, she's got her skirt, she has 2 skirts, she's got a corset, the little fluffy wrist cuffs, and she's got her little scarf right there. This is the second skirt. This is actually the skirt that she wears straight out of the box. It's not nearly as voluminous as the one that she's wearing right now. It's kind of the condensed version of the skirt. I really like the voluminous skirt much better, not just because it's very pretty, but it's also much more practical than the small one. You can see that the stand is plugged directly into the skirt itself, and if it were on this skirt, the plug would be right in that area. Now when you're not using this skirt, the place that the plug goes into is about right there on her back, so you have to get the stand up underneath her hair and into the back. That's really not very well planned out. They do that a lot on the Nendoroids that have long hair, and it's incredibly frustrating because you can see the hair is sitting right on the bolt of the stand as it is. So when you have to put it up underneath the hair and into the back, it always forces the Nendoroid's head down. Good Smile does this on many different Nendoroids. It bugs me every single time. They have other figures that have other stand mechanisms that work much better than this, and yet they keep doing it. So, I don't know. I never really like that. So you can display her without either skirt, if you like. You can take the scarf off. You can take the little cuffs off. But I like her best like this. Now, one of the main things that I was looking forward to when I got this figure was to pose her standing on the penguins. It's a pretty pretty famous little pose. It's been in all the preview pictures. It was on Mika Tan's blog like that. And it's something that she does during her transformation sequence, which is kind of hilarious. If you want to see what I'm talking about, you can see the picture on the box right there. Now the problem with posing her like that is that she doesn't really have any mechanism to do that. There's no really solid way to do it. The penguins don't attach to the stand at all. She doesn't have anything on her shoes that makes her hold firm onto the penguins. You basically just have to balance the penguins on the stand and then hover her over their heads. That's really unfortunate. It doesn't hold very well. It's very wobbly. It's not very balanced. It's just not good planning. So that's kind of frustrating about this figure. I was really looking forward to that. The princess comes with two other faces. There's this one, her bossy face, and that's probably the one I'll pose her with because I love it best when she's being bossy and putting people down. And then there's this one, her serene face, which is probably her transformation face, I would say. She comes with another leg right there. You can see it right there. This leg, it's part of her transformation pose as well. And she has like 6 arms. It's a lot of arms. You can do a lot of different things with her. Put her hands on her hips. There are most of the arms are her reaching out kind of like she is right now. So I've been obsessed with Pengiundrum for a year and a half. And for a long time it was really hard to get any kind of merch for Pengiundrum in the States. The only thing I had before this, there were the plushies that I got at the con, but I had some friends who went to Japan and they brought me a statue of her out of a crane machine. The statue was paint chipped, it was rough in all the wrong spots, like it's a crane machine statue, so it wasn't the greatest quality. So it's really nice to have something that's made by Good Smile, because they're one of the best in the industry. They are the best in my opinion. I love Nendoroids, and she has just got amazing quality. Like you can see the underside of her skirt is painted red. There's not a single paint impurity that I found on this entire figure. There's not a rough edge. All the pieces fit together really well. Now with any Nendoroid that has long hair, posing her arms is kind of a pain. But that's really just like a nitpicky sort of complaint. Like that's not a big thing at all. So she's just really well made. The only setback for me on this entire figure was posing the penguins with her. That's it. Everything else is as perfect as it can be. Like the pieces fit together well. It's just phenomenal. I'm super happy to have her. Ever since Pengiundrum aired, ever since they announced this Nendoroid, she's been sitting at the #1 spot in my must-have list for figures, so this is a really happy day for me to have it. So that's it. Princess of the Crystal. You can see more of her, some pictures that I've taken at otakucollectiondx.com sometime in the next few days.